Hello everybody, this is Luca in this new version of a podcast host. And I'm here today with a great friend. That needs an introduction, and because he has so many good things about him, I took some notes. 200 stitches, a broken jaw, several broken noses, 2 cheekbone reconstructions, that's scary, a knee reconstruction, a shoulder dislocation, 5 back surgeries. He was in the video game of NHL in '95. Father, husband, former professional hockey player.
Dude.
Now, Pastor Adam Burt is here with us today.
Come on, Luca, my hero. What an introduction, bro.
I am so excited to be here.
I know everyone's surprised that my nose has been broken that many times when they get a look at it, but
I had to read it over and over again because it's like, I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine. So, why are we here?
yeah.
First of all, we are here, let's say it right away, because he just wrote his book.
Come on, man.
Beautiful book, The Longest Game, Winning in Life. We're going to go through the book. We're going to talk about it a little bit more. Why I am here. We are at Every Nation Church in New Jersey, but I met Pastor Adams in Every Nation Church in New York City. I grew up Catholic, and then along the way, let's say that I lost my faith.
Yeah.
And I feel that, I don't know, Italy, everybody goes to church.
Yeah.
It's more of a cultural thing, because we have the Vatican there, something that is taught in school right away. But there's a big difference than being a religious person, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And going to church.
Yeah, very good.
Huge one. But when I came to America, after many years, you don't want to talk about my life, it's too long, but then when I met Kate brought me back to God.
Yeah.
And when I first got to the service, I listened to this man who is actually talking about real life.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a breath of fresh air, because sometimes in Catholics, I don't want to talk about the Catholics. I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the church services are in a certain way.
Yeah.
What I love about this big difference is that here you are a man that can talk to us, can talk to people, because first of all, so many things you did in your life.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is that you are a husband and a father.
Yeah.
So you can relate and talk to us. And that's what I love the most, because you talk about the Bible and you put the Bible in everyday real life.
Yeah.
And that's what I love the most. Pastor Adam actually celebrated our wedding.
Yeah.
He was the pastor that married Kate and I.
Yeah, so what you need to know, the reason why Luca and we met was Kate, his then fiance, sent me to him to shake him down a little bit, to make sure that he's legit. And it took a little while. I wasn't sure about this guy, but
Private investigation.
I'm a fan. I'm all in, and so I'm in Luca's fan club. So, man,
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
I'm a big fan of you too. It's been hard for us, you know, we told you already many times, since we left New York, to find a church that, because we compare it to you all the time. I know it's wrong, but like for us, it's hard to get attached because we have such a personal relationship with. But also, we like to hear you talk. You know how many times we put the Facebook stuff?
Great, man.
With the kids, we're driving around. Even if it's not a Sunday, it's like, let's see what Pastor Adam said.
That's great,
Sunday.
man.
Let's talk about this. Longest game, winning in life, writing a book. It's a hard job.
Yeah, man.
So what was the idea behind it? How did you come up with a concept? And also, very important, who is the book for?
Yeah. But first of all, I got to say this. I'm just so grateful you taking the time to do this, Luca. And I thought about, man, someone, you know a little bit about winning in life, man, being season 4 Master Chef champion, and just kind of all you've done. And so I'm honored that you would take the time and to do this with me and for me.
My pleasure.
But yeah, it's one of those things, Luca, and I'm sure you have these things where kind of like bucket list things where you thought, like, there's before I die, I need to write a book. It might be a coloring book, but I knew I had to do a book, And then as I got into the process, I was like, you know what? I think this could really help people. And so that was something that I was like, I started like it started taking shape and form, and so I really thought it could help people. Like you said, I think my gift is I'm not a highly educated guy, so I need people to keep it real with me. And so the Bible sometimes can seem so out of reach to people. And then I realized, man, that I think my gift is to take like high level stuff and just bring it down on the lower shelf so that we can kind of all understand, and how does this stuff apply to my life. And so that was kind of the genesis of the book.
I love it. I told you, like in a text message yesterday, I'm not such a big reader.
Yeah.
Even if every time I get into a book, I realize how first of all, how good it is for me, because I take time for myself and like kind of isolate from the book, right? But also you need a book that it keeps you inspired of reading it.
Yeah.
Never happened in my life that I finish a book in like 3 days. Never happened. I loved it. There's a lot of great stories. Some stories made me laugh. Some story touched me. Like some I teared up a little bit. Some shocked me. But let's rewind a little bit. Because maybe, people watching this, they want to know a little bit about you, because you had a very adventurous life.
Yeah.
So before you tell me who you are, like you describe in the book, I want to know, how did you get here? Like, how did you get so many years of pastoring and writing a book? What was your life before?
Before pastoring.
Before pastoring,
Gotcha. So I didn't have like the usual, kind of route to being, a pastor, unless you think so. I played 14 years in the NHL, the National Hockey League, and I don't know how I was able to play that long, but I fooled them for a little while, right? And so I got to play for 14 years I played for the Hartford Whalers, and then they became the Carolina Hurricanes. Got traded to Philly, played with the Philadelphia Flyers, which for the record is the longest game I played with the Flyers. And so
I read that. That's incredible.
That's
longest, the ESPN Classic.
The ESPN Classic, man. So that was kind of, I had 5 back surgeries, and I was forced to retire. And with that, man, I was like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? I'm 33 years old. And then I had my mentor / pastor was a guy who just came alongside me for years and just kind of started calling out ministry in my life. He's like, bro, you have a grace on your life, man. Did you ever think of pastoring? Then 9/11 took place in Manhattan, and a bunch of our churches actually went to kind of help on the ground. They decided they needed to plant a church there, and so my pastor was tasked with planting a church in Manhattan after 9/11, and he called me. He's like, hey, would you help me build the church here? And so didn't really know what I was doing, didn't have seminary and stuff like that. They just kind of threw me in and just kind of figured it out as we went, and God was gracious, and it grew into a great church, which and that's how you and I met.
Yeah, Martha and Kate. Martha is my sister-in-law. They used to go there. Loved it. It's been like it was a great part of our life in New York, like one of the memories I have, because I really needed. I didn't know. I didn't know, right? Before I met Kate, I thought I was the coolest guy in the earth. And then, I realized how much I was in a deep place, and actually reconnected me to God was very good for me. I mean, I gave it all up to God, of course, but because He put Kate in my life, Kate was able to, as you said before, straighten him up.
Yeah, and I gotta say you are cool, because one thing I remember about you back in our time in Manhattan is you were the only guy I knew who could make it look cool riding a Vespa. So I remember your little Vespa shooting down the streets of Manhattan and stuff like that. So you're the only guy who could rock it,
that's
man.
another great memory in New York. Yeah, we'll come on Sunday with the Vespa and then go out somewhere in brunch.
There you go, man.
14 years is a very long career. I believe, I don't know much about hockey. But can you explain me, was the fights always allowed? Or that came, somebody put it in the books of the rules and say, okay, it would be fun if we make fights.
Yeah, Luca, it's a bizarre thing, isn't it? Where your occupation, your job, allows you to kind of beat the tar out of one another, and so it's crazy. There's a whole technique to it. There's a whole etiquette to it. Okay. So in other words, if I wanted to fight you on the ice, I would say, "Hey, Luca, you want to go?" And so you would have to say, yeah, let's go. And then you drop your gloves, and then you have to, then you start swinging and doing it. So there's a whole
but for
etiquette
no reasons?
So there is a reason behind it. So either, like, sometimes you just want to beat the guy up, right? But then other times, if you don't have momentum and the other team has all the momentum, then
you break it down.
Yeah, then you try to drop the gloves and see if you can beat up their tough guy to hopefully get the momentum to switch.
It's like when the pitcher coach goes to the mound because the other guys because the pitcher is struggling.
Yeah,
same thing.
Yeah.
But you said you had what, 64?
So I had 63 fights in the NHL.
Were you angry?
Yeah,
Were you an
I was
angry
not
guy?
angry. I wasn't. So what our audience should know, I had 63 fights in the NHL, but the stats say I won 4 of them, all right? So I got beat up a lot, man.
Did you ever say no?
So
somebody asked you to go?
My very first fight, it was this. The guy asked, he said, do you want to go? And I knew the guy. And I thought he said, way to go. And I said, thank you, and skated away. And then all my teammates afterwards, they're like, bro, he wanted to fight you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then we went out and fought.
Oh, then you went back and said, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah, I misunderstood.
Let's go. ESPN Classic. Have you watched yourself?
Yeah. So I have. Are you kidding me, man? When the game comes back on again, I'm gonna watch it. I was much more relaxed watching it than I was in it. Okay.
It's crazy because I didn't know about it. I read a little bit, but you describe it. It sounds like it was a heartbeat, like a thriller of a game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So for our audience, man, it was just so it was way back in 2000, right? And but I was with the Philadelphia Flyers. We're playing against our in-state rivals, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and so they had us down 0-2. They won the first 2 games in our home building, which shocked us, shocked our fans, and we went back to Pittsburgh to play.
So 0-2, you go back home.
0-2. Now we're going to Pittsburgh, so now we're on the road. Exactly.
I didn't get that. So you lost at home.
We lost at home, and the Philly fans were like besides if they're like, what the world? So then we go game 3. We won that game in Pittsburgh in overtime.
Okay.
So it was exciting, but game 4 was the most exciting thing that I've ever done as far as hockey on the ice. And so the game, Luca, it started at 7:30 at night, and it didn't end till 2:35 in the morning. So there was it took almost 9 periods to finish the game. For those of you that don't know hockey, it's only 3 periods as a regulation game. So we almost played 3 complete games. So
was people still in the stands? Or was more than the thing?
So some people left, but the majority were there. But some of them were sleeping.
How can you sleep with that?
It was comical, man. They were sleeping. We actually got hungry during the game. So at like 1 a.m., our trainer had to order pizzas. And so can you imagine the pizza guy coming to a pro sport? They're thinking they're going to a frat house or something, right? And instead they go to a National Hockey League game. But super exciting. And man, I was just glad to say at the end of it, we won. And so
was that what inspired the title, The Longest Game?
Yeah, that's such a great question, and I'm so glad you asked it, bro. Because so after that game, Luca, when we scored and won, winning the game was great. But you know what? The coolest part for me was after the game, I was just sitting in my locker room, just no sweat left to sweat, man. Just exhausted. But I remember being able to, like I had this deep sense of being so satisfied deep in my soul. Like, if you've ever poured yourself into something and you had nothing left to give, and then you came out on top, there's something thrilling about that. But then I was able to, as well, to look at my teammates in the face and know, hey, man, I left it all out there for you. And so that was very powerful for me, And here's my big, for the book, the big idea is, I want people, at the end of your life, I want you to be able to look at your Creator in the eye, man, and be able to say, Lord, I left it all out there for you. I left it all out there for you. That's my big hope for all of us.
That chapter talks about sins.
Yeah.
So I feel sometimes people can be a little bit tricked by the story of Jesus and why God decided that for Jesus. But I think there can be 2 types of people.
Okay.
But I want to know what you think about it. Somebody who lives and give it all, but you're going to do sin.
Right.
We're all sinners, right?
Yep.
Is it normal, is it right to live constantly feeling guilty because we are sinners?
So really, it depends on what you're talking about. So we would distinguish between a sin and are you talking about condemnation, or are you talking about conviction? Because those would be two different things. So in other words, you commit a sin and then you feel condemned. In other words, it's not what you did was wrong. It's you're like, I'm wrong. And I think that the Bible God's not after condemning his people. He came to save us. But what he is after is conviction. And conviction, it just means like if you're convicted or arrested, that means it's like the Spirit of God arresting you and going, hey, you don't want to go down that road. And like sin is just kind of breaking God's law and rules. And here's the big idea is we got to know, like God is not allowing, like saying, hey, don't do that because he's like, I said so. That's not what he's doing. Okay. He's like, man, that the commands of God leads you to the best life possible, man. It always leads to human flourishing. And then, and I'll prove it to you. All right, I'm going to prove it to our audience. So we're going to do a little experiment. I want you to take the next 30 days, and I want you to do the exact opposite of the 10 Commandments, all right? So I want you to lie, steal, murder, adultery, and then we'll come back and we'll do another podcast and see how your life is doing.
You can't do it, because I'd probably
be in jail. You'd be dead or in jail or whatever. Why? Because, man, God's ways, it's supposed to lead to the best life possible for us.
I love that. I have another question about sins. And I think, I lived in different states. Mm-hmm. And I've seen different type of Christians. How do you say to somebody, they say, oh, it's okay, you can't be perfect in life. It's going to happen that you're going to commit sins. Yeah. But that's why Jesus died. Mm-hmm. He paid for us. Mm-hmm. So I trust Jesus, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
How do you see that?
So can I bring it even to hockey? I would say it like this is, I talked about fighting. And what's so cool is you could lose a fight and the guys would be like, hey man, he kicked your butt, but that was awesome. You did great, man. And so, in other words, you're accepted as long as you have the courage to fight. But if you don't have the courage to fight and you refuse to fight on the ice, you lose all the respect of your teammates and they'll shun you. They're like, I don't want that guy on my team because he's not fighting. Okay. And so I really feel like that for us in life. Hey man, we're going to lose some fights against sin, but so it's okay to lose a fight. But it's not okay to not fight. Does that make sense?
It does.
And so that's where we want to fight against the things that we know in our heart to be wrong, right? But occasionally we're going to lose that fight, and man, we just get back up. Man, we confess our sin, and we get back, loving Jesus and loving the world.
It's a great point, and I think it comes out. I took some notes because some things I want to quote from the book. Did you think you made kind of a list of things that we should do to be good Christians, right? That's also in the book. That was the idea, to help us, put us in the right direction.
Yeah.
There is one part, it talks about the Bible, and I love this. You say. It's my note. The Bible is non-negotiable for the Christian life.
Yeah.
And then you said something else talking about, I never seen a weak Christian that reads the Bible every day.
Yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, and I've never met a strong Christian who didn't read it, or a weak one that did read it every day. For me, it's just a non-negotiable. And why? Because I feel like number one, like I remember growing up, like no one ever told me, hey, you can understand the Bible. It's the Word of God. Now it might, you might not always understand it, but I'm saying like stay with it, and little by little, it starts to make sense. And listen, it is a guidebook, like I said, to human flourishing. Jesus is he's showing us the way to live. And so, if I can just do a quick hockey story, man.
Yeah.
We had, so it was 1987 it was my draft year.
So make you feel old. I was 6.
Yeah, dude, I know, bro. I'm an old fart, man. So here we are. The draft was in my hometown of Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
First time it was ever there. And so I was rated to go in the first round. So it was a super big deal. All my family's going to be there.
Yeah.
And bro, I got passed over and I didn't get drafted till like late in the second round, like 37th or 39th. It was like a big disappointment, man. And you know what? I realized I really had a come to Jesus moment there, because I was a Christian, but I was a kind of Christian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like, I want heaven, but I'm like, I still want to do what I want to do, and whatever, go get hammered on the weekends or do whatever. And to that moment, I realized, you know what? Being the halfway kind of Christian is not working out, man. It's I'm actually failing at everything I want to do and to be. In that moment, at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan, at the draft, I just determined, I was like, Lord, I'm putting all my chips in with you, man. And it was that day I made a deal with the Lord. I'm like, Lord, I'm going to read 1 chapter a day for the rest of my life. Listen, once again, I said, I'm not like a real educated dude, but I can read 1 chapter, and we're all busy people, but you can find time to read 1 chapter of the Bible, and it has revolutionized my life.
But you also said that you keep on reading it. You still read it every day, and you feel that even things that you read before in the past are giving you new insights and new perspectives.
So well said, bro. I couldn't have said it any better. In fact, my teammates used to make fun of me because I would carry my Bible on the bus on road trips.
Yeah.
And they would ask, they're like, Ads, haven't you finished that book yet? But that's not how the Bible works, man. You just keep over and over and over, and you just find these new I've been reading it for like 40 years, man. And it's still new stuff where it speaks to me and ministers to me, man. I'm all in.
Honestly, the book for me was also so nice to read. Besides all the stories, I cannot imagine how long it took you to put everything together, because there are a lot of insights that people don't know. Go and read the book so you can read it too. But to give you a little bit insight, it's lots of famous people in the sports or any industry, and they have moments in their life they can be reconnected to God and to the Bible, and some, as I said before, some are very shocking moments, but and some made me sad, some made me laugh, like the pastor who crashed your car that you just fixed. But what I love what I loved about you always, that you can really put the Bible. Is very important to put what the Bible teaches us and put it in regular life. And reading, especially the first chapters of the book, for me was like sometimes I lose that. I kind of need that constant reminder that you need to do certain things in your life if you want it to really live a happy life. I mean, it's very rhetoric to say, just follow the rules that Jesus, or follow the life that Jesus had, and you're really gonna live better. It's so simple, but I feel that sometimes in our lives, being so active and so whatever busy, I think so many of us, me in premise, right? I forget about that. So it was great. It was great.
I think, and I'm a firm believer in this, and this is why I'm so passionate. I want to help people fulfill God's destiny for their life, man. And so, if maybe there's some people out there, you don't believe in God, but here's kind of the ramifications of that if we're just kind of lucky mud, there was somewhere, somehow, like a big bang, and we, somehow grew into human beings, and now all of a sudden, do you know what that means though? That means like you have no purpose. It's just like, man, the strong survive, eat, drink, and be merry, because tomorrow you die. Like, there's no hope. But man, the Bible story, man, our story it's filled with hope, purpose, dripping with destiny. Because man, if I'm not a cosmic accident, but there was a designer who designed you, man, for a distinct purpose and mission. And so, man, I just see, man, like God created you to do something. And bro, I'm just so cool watching you walk in your destiny that God's made for you. And I do know when you're leaning into the Lord, man, you're the best you can possibly be. You're the best husband, the best dad.
I agree.
So
I agree 100%. I had a question, and I don't know if it really makes sense. Do you think that God God up there is looking down, and he has his Noahs.
Has his what?
Noah.
Noah's like
Noah,
Yeah.
Noah was the only one who saved before the ark, right?
Yeah.
Do you think right now, who are the Noahs of our days?
Yeah. What do you mean, like who's God saving and reaching?
Yeah, or who's like, in our society, you look around, do you think that God has the people that he sees? Oh, it reminds me of Noah? Or you think it's not happening anymore because Jesus died and nobody can be like that anymore?
Yeah. I think Noah would be envious to be of what we have on the other side of the cross of Christ. So here's what's crazy, like, so
That's
Noah, Moses, David, all the big leaguers in the Old Testament of your Bible, the guys we read about, man, they had to kill all these animals and to create like clean spaces where man could meet with God. And so they had the Solomon's temple and things like that. But now through the cross of Christ, it says this, that you're the temple, I'm the temple, that the Spirit of God, somehow, some way, he dwells inside of us. And so those guys, they'd be like, I feel ripped off, man. These guys like Luca and Adam got it great because God's in them and with them all the time. Whereas they had to go to a temple or go do something like that just to meet with God.
Okay,
yeah.
I see that.
Yeah.
I loved, you made an analogy. I don't know if you were talking about Genesis when you said this chapter of the Bible is like the Hall of Fame. Of the
Hall of Fame of Faith. Yeah, that's right,
Hall
man.
of Fame of Faith.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, another big topic, prayer.
Prayer.
So, I know why God doesn't talk to me. Mm-hmm. I know. Mm-hmm. I don't pray enough. Mm-hmm. I hear many stories in my life of people that say, oh, I have a personal relationship with Jesus. God talks to me all the time. And you talk about it in the book in many different ways. That sometimes God talks to people, or it doesn't really need to, because your life is going in a certain way because of God. Mm-hmm. But if somebody comes to you and say, like, I'm doing everything I can, I'm really like trying to be the best Christian, why is God not talking to me?
So I would say, Luca, I would say God's speaking all the time. So in other words, am I saying I've heard an audible voice and stuff like that? Have not. But yet I feel like I've heard from God every day. And here's the reason why. So God is spirit, right? And so God speaks to us in our spirit. He speaks spirit to us. And so I don't need to be hooky pooky, but that's how the Bible presents itself. And so for us, two things. It's when you become a follower of Christ, something comes alive on the inside of you. Some people have use the term born again. Yeah. In other words, something comes alive. Now you've been given the ability to hear from the Spirit of God. Your spirit has come alive. Now you can listen to God and speak like spirit to spirit type thing. And so listen, like heaven's great, and I'm so thankful, to trust that I believe I'm going to be there. You're going to be there because you've trusted in Jesus, not because we're good people or whatever. But more than that is friendship with God, man. Like I get to walk with him and talk with him each and every day. I got to watch myself because sometimes I'm having a conversation with the Lord and I'm like, did I just say that out loud or not? People think I'm crazy or whatever. But that's the goal, man, as I get to. Jesus actually says in the Bible, he says, this is eternal life, that they might know me. Right? And so that's kind of cool thing. So have you ever, I don't know if you've ever done this. Sometimes I'll be reading my Bible. I've read the thing 1,000,000 times, but for whatever reason, this time jumps off the page at me. And it's kind of like the Lord going, hey, dum-dum, I'm talking to you about this. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm sure there's been moments too, like the Lord, maybe he didn't audibly speak to you or do something, but man, you just have a moment, be it outdoors or be it with your kids. Yeah. You experience beauty or something like that. You're like, man, God, thank you that you let me experience that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, So I wanted to demystify that sometimes I grew up thinking, oh, I got to be on my knees. I got to do this. I got to do, in order to pray, rather than just having a conversation with God. Yeah.
There was a moment, you talked about it now, in one of my trips to Italy. And it was the first trip I did. It took a lot of time and effort, to put the trip together. And then it's in my hometown, Friuli Venezia Giulia, like my home region.
Where's that? Is that
Northeast, next to Venice. Okay. So it was raining. We were going to the wine country, one of the best wine countries in the world,
Nice.
called Coglio, and it was raining, cloudy, and then we got to the vineyard, and we parked the bus. We walked down the bus. The skies opened up. The colors, it was still lightly raining. The color looked like almost painted in pastels.
Yeah.
And the sun came out. I started crying.
Yeah.
There were people next to me. It's like, are you crying?
Yeah.
It's like, yes. I don't know why.
Yeah.
This is so emotional.
Yeah.
It looks so beautiful. And it was right in the middle, almost like at the end of the tour. It was kind of like, and in that moment, I told also the people that was next to me, it was like, it felt like God was talking to me. And it's like, I did this for you.
Yeah.
Because you work so hard for it.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes though we feel that working hard in a certain way for me is not the way that God wants me to work hard. But in this moment, I enjoyed the moment, like you said, something so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I was speechless. It's like, I don't know why I'm crying. Like, it's emotional, it's beautiful. But that was my moment.
It's
recently,
amazing. My big thing is it's like why people when we go on vacation, man, what do we go? We go to mountains and oceans and places like that. Why? Because there's something soul stirring about seeing God's beauty in His creation. That as humans, man, we're drawn to that because that's what our Creator created us to enjoy, man. And so that's so awesome, dude. I've done that so many times. Where I'm like, God, thank you for letting me see that.
Crazy. Okay, last thing about the book that was very funny to me. So, Mets game, Yohan Santana throws a no-hitter, and there is this guy that goes in the field with a Mets jersey, but he's wearing jorts.
Jorts. I hope our audience knows what jorts are.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like jeans,
they're
right?
jean shorts, okay?
You explained that in the book, but now I want to know, because it was a great analogy. What does it mean to be a Christian in jorts?
Yeah, Christian in jorts. So for those of you guys that don't know, so it was after the no hitter where Santana threw it, and then like the bench is cleared off, and all the players, they're in their uniform, right? They're piling on, and then this guy jumps on, who's, like you said, he's only got jorts on. He's got a jersey and jorts, but you can tell, hey, that dude doesn't fit in. And so the funny thing is that the Mets, they went out and celebrated that night. And that guy went to jail. And the reason why I say it is I've seen Christians in jorts all the time, and I don't mean it literally, but figuratively. It's like, hey, I have I go to church. I carry a Bible. They have the Christian like outfit, if you will. But bro, you're not a player. You're not in the game. And that's what I think, man, Christianity is so much more than just going to church or reading your Bible, but God has a mission and a purpose for your life. And like wherever you go and whatever you do, you are His hands and feet in the earth. So at your 9-to-5 job, if you're going to school, wherever it is, man, God has a purpose for you in that space, And so that's why I can't stand people that are just kind of, hey, they just going through their motions, clock in and clock out, but not making any difference outside the four walls of the church, man. So don't be a Christian in jorts.
I love that. And that's, I feel like, how I grow up with the traditions in Italy. I was an altar boy.
Yeah, no way.
I loved my priest.
Yeah.
Don Pierluigi passed away now. I loved it. It was a time of my life. And then, unfortunately, I don't think I had the right people around me.
Right.
To keep it going, because once I was a teenager, I was not an altar boy.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But, life is made. I mean, it's a good example that I can teach now. That I can tell my kids, don't be dumb like me. Right? Keep your heads together all the time, because people lose the focus on the important things in life.
Yeah.
There is so much out there that it seems like great to do. Everybody's having these exciting lives, but think. And I love that I read this. I loved your book because it put me feet back down on earth. That's kind of reset.
Yeah.
Hey, Luca, you are going out too much and looking and focusing on things that are not really important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you want to be, as I said many times, like my best win in life was my wife, my kids, and my family.
Awesome.
But if you're not good within yourself, you cannot be your best husband or your best father
Yep.
or best co-worker or whatever you do in life, or leader or business owner, whatever. So it's great. The longest game,
Yeah.
I don't want to go yet because I want to play something.
Yeah.
I'm starting a podcast. I don't know when. Now I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to do, can we do like a rapid fire
round.
questions?
All right,
Yeah,
all
I've
right.
seen it in so many podcasts. I think it's fun.
Just
right?
know I've been punched a lot. I lost 60 fights, so I've been hitting the head a lot. So I don't know if I quit
it's all
that,
about
but
you. Some
we'll
people
go.
know you a little bit more.
We'll go.
All about you. So, is there a place, name one place that you've never been in the world, that you would take Susan, now Susan is his wonderful wife, and you would take Susan for a vacation because you always dreamed to go there?
So I'll just say Greece. It's front of mind.
Yeah.
But before I would have said Italy.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I did a wedding in Italy, bro. It was just the best
Beautiful.
ever. Yeah. So I want to get back to Italy for sure.
Yeah.
A bucket list thing. So because we're hopefully heading there in May. So
Yeah.
that'd be
Greece?
Yeah. No idea what I'm doing and stuff there. So we still got to figure
they
it all out.
eat a lot of lamb.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to
Lamb,
get.
great
Dude,
cheese.
is it squid or what's the what do you call the? What's calamari? Like not
the squid.
calamari, but not the
The
but
grilled one.
Yeah.
Our seafood over there is amazing.
Killer.
Yes. Okay, mountain or the beach?
Oh man, when we retire, we want to have a lake in the mountain.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, that's what we're looking
But
for.
it's not the lake, it's not the beach.
Right, you're right.
It's cold.
So then I'll go mountain.
You do
I'll
mountain?
go mountain then, yeah.
Hiking? You like that?
No, I don't. I like the view. I have your Italy moment with the sunset. I just look at the sky and the mountains. And I'm like,
No
dude,
hiking.
I'm good.
Fishing?
No,
Okay,
I'm
so
boring.
Just there, right?
I'm
coffee,
a nerd.
Coffee, the
Yeah,
Bible.
that's it.
And hockey?
Nailed it.
Hockey.
No, coffee, the Bible. There you go. Good coffee
That's
in the
awesome.
Bible.
Favorite place you ever been on vacation?
Favorite place? Let me think. Just St. Croix comes to mind. We've been to St. Croix in Ireland. Yeah. Just because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then we had friends that kind of showed us all the joints and stuff to go to.
I thought you were going to say another thing. We'll get back to the rapid question.
Yeah.
Tell me your experience when you went to Palestine and Israel, and for the first time you went in the places where you know that Jesus was there once.
Yeah.
How was that?
I'll say my experience. I didn't want to go, Luca. So when I went on that trip, I was like, I didn't want to go, but I was like the pastor, I had to go. And bro, it was transformative for me because now all the places that I read in the Bible, now they come to life to me. So I got to I've read about the Jordan River, but I got to baptize people in the Jordan River. And it was like crazy.
Christian was one of them.
Yeah. And so I wasn't expecting to be like it was. It was kind of muddy in that, but it was super cold in the Middle Eastern heat. So now when I read it, it kind of comes alive to me.
Yeah.
And just the fact how it's small, everything that took place. I mean, Israel's not a huge place.
Yeah.
So it's to think that. In fact, we went to what they said was the Garden of Gethsemane, and they said because olive trees, they last so long, they're so hardy, that some of those may have been in the garden when Jesus was there. It's just like mind-blowing, man. Yeah.
That would be something I think I would like to do with the kids in the future.
Well, good. I'm going to let you know because I think once things settle down over there, we're going to do a trip, man.
That's
so,
awesome.
you're my guy.
Very good. Okay. Let's go. I'm a chef, so we gotta go on a little bit of food. Best food you ever had?
Wow, Luca. Like restaurant?
Restaurant. There's something that you still remember to this day.
So for me, like, it was an experience.
Yeah.
The food was good.
Yeah.
You know, there's a place called Burns Steakhouse. It's down in Tampa. And so what would happen, it's got the largest wine cellar in North America.
Oh, wow.
And so they grow like their own herbs, and you can see the fish like in the aquarium. Massive place. And then, so a lot of the...
Wait a second, they have the fish?
Yeah.
The fish to feed
You don't have to fish the fish, but they have the ones, that there's some of them that they're going to serve, like snapper and stuff like that are in. So you get to, they'll do tours of like the kitchen in the back, which was pretty cool. But we do it in the NHL. They have what's called rookie dinners.
Yeah.
And so that means the rookies have to pay the bill for everything.
Oh, wow.
And so we go to this place. I mean, guys are getting bottles of wine that cost, thousands and thousands of dollars. So the bill's just insane. So they had to cut it off at like 10,000 per player, and that's how,
Oh.
Yeah.
Holy
so it was
cow.
crazy, but it was an experience, to go do that with all the guys.
Yeah.
And then when you're finished, you go up to the dessert room.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, they have a dessert room? Like, this is, and so like the desserts are like in a phone book, man, and they have like cigars and stuff. So it was quite an experience.
Yeah. Sounds amazing. Pizza or pasta?
Golly, bro, that's tough. I'd say pizza.
Pizza?
Yeah. Are you ashamed of me? Dude,
No,
you'd be pasta all the way, wouldn't you?
No, I love them both.
Yeah,
it would be very hard for me to choose.
Very
it depends,
hard.
I'm very picky.
Yeah.
But picky on where I eat the pizza. But, pasta I make it at home usually. Pineapple on pizza.
You're gonna hate me again, dude. Yes.
With what?
With ham.
I see that. Hawaii spicy though. Ever tried it?
No.
Jalapenos.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That'd be
Pineapple,
great.
ham, but tomato sauce or cheese base?
Man, I've never had just cheese base.
So tomato sauce?
Yeah.
So
but
tomato
that sounds
sauce,
good, just cheese too.
Pineapple, ham.
Jalapeno?
Jalapeno, I like it.
Yeah, that's
I'm
great, man.
Italian, but it doesn't have to be.
Have you done the spicy honey yet? That's where the hot honey.
So I did it, but not with the pineapple.
Okay, yeah, I heard on pizza. I heard it's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I remember one day, Kate, I was making pizza at home, the dough, and she brought pineapple home, and she filmed me, thinking that I was gonna flip on her, like they could see all this stuff on Instagram. And I said, "Oh, great! Yes, I like it. I have some cheese." So I had the spicy honey in a caramelized onions and bacon pizza.
Oh, bro.
And I gotta tell you, this is a famous place. Shout out to my friends at Moonlight in Pen Argyl.
Yeah.
And there was pineapple and bacon. Caramelized, not pineapple. Caramelized onions and bacon.
Yeah.
And the pizza is very good.
Yeah.
I liked it. And then I saw this hot honey. And I put the hot honey on the pizza. Another level.
Game over.
Another level. Yeah. No, I like it. Some things is gonna be good. Now, you mentioned yourself as a gym rat in the book, which everybody since your shoulder knows that. Early bird or night owl?
So I have the same routine. I'm at 3 o'clock. Now, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Because I'm a morning guy.
Said 3 a.m.
No, I'm a morning guy. But I want to give my best time to the Lord, so I'm kind of in my Bible writing and doing stuff like that.
What time do you wake up?
So I'm usually, I used to be 5, I'm 6 now, 6 a.m. Yeah, I'm up. And I have my golden retrievers are waiting for me, man, to feed them and do all that stuff.
But also, I believe that, now your girls are older, they're out of the house.
Yeah.
I believe, life changes as you go, probably before you had to wake up earlier because you had so many things to do.
Yeah, you gotta beat the kids up, not beat them up, but you know what I'm saying,
it's
beat
true.
up before them.
Yeah, we say that all the time. I never do it.
Yeah.
I beat them at night.
Yeah, right.
I'm in the wrong side. Okay, this is a big one.
Yeah.
Worst habit that you have?
Oh man, let's see. Worst habit. So I'm super disciplined. I'm a disciplined guy until about 9 o'clock at night. And I got a sweet tooth. And so that's where the wheels fall off of me. And so my habit is I have to have something sweet before I go to bed. I try to keep it healthy, you know what I'm saying? But every now and then.
Healthy?
Yeah. So I'll do
dates.
No, I'll do a banana with almond butter or something.
Okay.
That's when I'm being good. But my daughter's...
Mine is a pint of ice cream.
Oh, dude, my daughter's a baker.
Yeah.
So she bakes cookies, and I'm like, why are they in the house? Because once I eat one, it's a wrap, man. I eat the whole thing, and it's over.
That's it. I was fishing for something more for her. Okay, not too much. Favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? Golly.
Yeah.
I mean, you think this is hilarious on stage, but I'm not HGTV or Sports Center, or not HGTV.
You said that. You said that.
Yeah, and Food Network. So those are the ones. I get in trouble for the Food Network, but anyways.
Okay, let's do another one. Favorite TV show? No, favorite movie.
Favorite movie? Oh man, bro, I should know these better.
One that you've seen so many times and you still love to see it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you the trinity of guy movies.
Okay.
All right. So if you're a dude, you need to watch these. So it's Braveheart, Gladiator, and 300. Right. That's the trinity of guy movies.
I saw two of them.
There
I didn't see 300.
300. Okay.
I saw the other ones.
Dude, Braveheart. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's just great. It's old, but it's
awesome.
Yeah,
okay, I love it. Okay, great. Last one.
Yeah.
If you weren't a hockey player of a pastor.
Yep.
What would Adam Burt want it to be?
What would I have done? Honestly, I thought I was going to be like a broadcaster, do something like that.
Yeah?
At least, after I retired, yeah.
No, before the hockey player.
So before, in my mind, I was going to get into law.
Okay.
And then I realized it's not like what you see on TV. Just a lot of books and a lot of work and a lot of, so I didn't know it wasn't, you can't handle the truth and then you're good to go, you know. So
you wanted to be there. But as far as the hockey player, were you a kid and say, I'm going to be a hockey player?
I was, man. I started like skating at like 3 or something. My family, it was just kind of big into them. And
So is this like, do you think that it needs to be something where people put, like I said I wanted to be a pilot. Right? And then I don't think I ever said I wanted to be a soccer player, but in my life I wanted to be a lot of things.
Yeah.
I never pursue any of them 100% with the best of me. This is something I actually try to tell my kids all the time.
Yeah.
So you said that you were a kid and you already thinking to be a hockey player. How did you shape your life growing up?
Yeah.
Like, do you remember when you were a kid, when you were in high school, your mentality was already that? Was it soft focus?
Yeah.
Because that's important.
So here's what's like so cool is, like I said, man, God designed you and me. Like we're different and unique, man. And so I'm sitting here admiring. I'm like, man, Luca is so adventuresome. Like, what an amazing life you've lived, man. You've traveled all over, done amazing things, and yet I'm wired super different. Where even like from a little kid, I am like, if I have too much stuff, I just get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But I can focus on something and be really driven towards the one thing.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my lane, but I admire guys that oh man, your life is so cool. Mine's going to be pretty vanilla.
There's nothing to admire. I am overwhelmed and I'm all over the place. So I think your strategy is working much better.
Isn't it cool how we're so different? I'm like, we all got our lanes, and so and I do have to say, like one of my favorite stories in the book though. So one of my favorite stories is about this guy named Luca Manfé, all right? So who's coming to our church, and so I need to share this one, bro. And so so those of you guys that don't know, so Luca was coming to my church, and he I think the year before he tried out for MasterChef and just barely missed the cut. And so then the next year he comes up to me and Luca goes, "Hey, I'm going out to California." I think it was California. Is that where they shot?
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Hey, I'm going to try out for MasterChef and we'll see how it goes." So he says, "I might not see you for a while." So he goes away, and I thought, "Oh, that's really cute. He's going to do that again, you know." And he goes out. Well, I don't see Luca for a while, and he comes back, and then he's like, he says, you know, we're all done. I'm like, "How did you do? How did you do?" He goes, "Can't tell you. I can't tell you." And so he was total poker face. So I'm watching MasterChef, things going on, and I'm watching, and Luca, he was struggling a little bit at the start, right? But the dude's so charismatic. He's just like the audience. Everybody loved him and all that. And then you started your game really started to excel, bro. And so as he's working it, so my whole family.
It's interesting because the big switch in the show is when Kate was a guest in the show.
That's right. I remember.
That was like, after that, I never looked back.
Never looked back.
It charged me so much.
Yeah, man. So long story short, he makes it to the finale. And so Luca's with us in Manhattan, and so that it's tape delayed by, 3 months or something like that. So it's already done, but I don't know who won. And so Luca invites some of his friends, of which I got the free ask. So he rented out this restaurant, and we're watching the finale on the TV screens, and we're all just nervous to see who won. Everyone's nervous except this guy because he was already there, right? He already did it. And so then they announced the MasterChef Season 4 champion, Luca Manfé. We all lose our mind.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
I still have a video. Like,
dude,
the place is like somebody scores a goal.
Yeah, it was just the best ever. But the funny thing is, we were all surprised, except for him, because he had already been there. And then I always use that to show how those of you that are worried about tomorrow, right? We're anxious about, am I going to have enough to pay the bills? Am I going to, what's going to happen with my spouse or my health or all these things we worry about? And I want to encourage you, man, people that, man, God's already in tomorrow. He's waiting for you. Just like you weren't surprised, God's never surprised. And so he's waiting for us in tomorrow, and he has everything you need to do and to be all he's called you to do, man. And so that comforts me. That's my Luca story, man.
I love it. Love it. Great way to end it. Okay. Where do they find this? So
Luca, you can get this Barnes & Noble, Amazon, anywhere like books are sold, and so appreciate anybody going out and grabbing it, especially for men that maybe don't have a faith or anything, but maybe they're interested in sports and stuff. I always think this would be a great tool to just entrance into starting faith.
I love it.
Great, man. Thanks, Luca. You're the greatest, bro. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for watching. See you soon.
See you soon.